Hey everybody, my name's John.
I'm Bob. He's Bi.
They're Butch.
And together we are the Butch and the Bi.
This is the Butch and the Bi, the podcast. Episode 101.
Like the Dalmatians.
Exactly. We're like dogs. Sad and often put down by ourselves. The dog eat dog world out here, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, yeah, we maybe will have something up that will make this make a little more sense. Or not. Who knows? Fun experimenting time.
Important updates in the life of the Butch and the Bi. After being publicly called out, we have a microwave now.
Yes, you will all be glad to know if you are one of the cast members of the 100th episode that the Butch and the Bi now officially have a microwave, not as like merch or anything, but just like just like in our kitchen. So thanks, Sandy Marek, for digging it out of storage. Yeah, we had a nice weekend this weekend. Bob, we went to the Improv Jam at Arcade Comedy Theater.
Yeah, Improv Jam, well-known strangers hosting.
Yes, our good friend Faustino was in town doing his tour of America for like improv stuff, and he tickled the piano keys. He was also at our 100th episode. We adore him, and there were other people at our 100th episode that were amazing, wonderful people, some of which that haven't been on the podcast, which is a crying shame, which is why today we're here to announce something very official. If you didn't watch the 100th episode, is that every 5th episode we'll be having a guest, and we should be talking to Krista soon about when to have her come back and do her thing. So yeah, it'll be the same format. We'll watch a movie, but this time with someone, and then we'll immediately drag them upstairs to our studio, to make them talk to us about it. So that will be a lot of fun. Bob, what else did we do on Friday night?
We went and saw a movie.
Well, okay, first off, we went to the Harris, which is downtown Pittsburgh's only movie theater. As of right now, the one in Southside shut down during the pandemic. We can't say it because we'll get words from me in the editing bay. But yeah, we went to see a movie at the Harris Theater. Beautiful theater. It's a single screen theater. It's actually the operations manager is the same guy I worked for during my my little stint at Hollywood Theater in Dormont when it was not the way it is now.
In the before times.
In the before times is the polite way to put it. I don't need to be polite about it, but I'm going to be. But yeah, we went and saw a movie called Resurrection.
His call.
Okay, the trailer looked interesting.
Oh yeah, the trailer very much looked like the sort of thing you're into. Like, it is a psychological drama horror. Yeah, with some extra weird whipped cream on top.
It's okay. So first off, this movie. First off, let me just say first off repeatedly. I realize I can't edit as much if there's video. That's the fun part.
Yes.
I can like cut an audio version of the podcast and then just release the completed like it's the extra bonus content. We're just gonna make our own website like Corridor Crew and just have a whole thing. It's directed and written by Andrew Semans, which now that I'm looking at his name makes sense. It starred Rebecca Hall, Tim Roth, Grace Kaufman, Michael Esper, Angela Wong Carbone, and Jamie Zavalos. That person was a driver. It's a very small cast. It's a beautifully shot film. I think that's probably the biggest thing it has going for it is the second biggest thing. The first biggest thing is the performances. For as weird as this movie gets, they are some stellar performances, and Rebecca Hall is carrying that entire movie on her back, and doing an excellent job. And the cinematography is some of the most realistic cinematography, like 1-to-1. Like, I was watching that movie and being like, my eyeballs have seen this exact lighting, this exact quality, this exact, like, just,
yeah,
it was very real. And it was, and I think that helped with the visceralness of some of it.
Yeah. So this is a concept that if done poorly, is the sort of thing that would just get panned.
Mm-hmm.
But it's done so well.
The technical side of everything is done just so extremely well for a very, very small budget movie. Let's see here. It had a... Does it have the... Oh, it doesn't say yet. Mm-hmm. I will find that out. But yeah, it had the chance of not going that way.
Mm-hmm.
It could have easily been like a college student film with the premise. So basically we're following this woman, Margaret the woman. Which, by the way, I've had a crush on Rebecca Hall since Iron Man 3. She plays the villain that was supposed to be the main villain, but Ike Perlmutter's sexist, and so she didn't. Because lady toys don't sell.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I should clarify. Lady toys don't sell to kids. And when I say lady toys, I mean toys of girls, not lady toys. I'm making a dildo joke here, Bob.
Yeah, no, I could tell.
Oh,
Although if you're going to say lady toys, dildo's not the primary one.
What would be the primary one?
I mean, just saying a vibrator.
Oh.
A non-vibrating dildo is not the most exciting thing.
No, that can't be right. Everybody knows that the dildo is the best. Are you telling me that that's not the best one? Are you telling me there are other parts that need attention that maybe that's not the best tool for? This is the fun part about videos. Make Bob blush. Okay, do we just get into the weird?
Yeah,
okay.
So the movie that basically Margaret suffered some extreme abuse and specifically gaslighting at the hands
Stockholm syndrome. I think this is one of the most clear-cut cases of Stockholm syndrome in movies.
But it also very clearly is like explaining that it's the sort of gaslighting where it's like he told her things and she came to believe them. That's part of the abuse is that she's like,
is that Munchausen's? What's the medical? Munchausen. Yeah, it's basically like she's hearing things that he's encouraging her to hear when she's 19.
He's using a very suggestive manipulation.
Yeah. So her parents are, what was they, researchers or something?
Yeah,
and this was a fellow researcher at this facility upstate that they were at. And he's played by Tim Roth. Great performance of one of the weirdest villains I've ever seen in a horror movie. If we're calling that this.
Psychological thriller.
Yeah, psychological thriller. It's weird because there's a couple parts of this that make this truly weird. So the whole thing is that she had a kid with him. And she feels guilt about the I guess we have to really a trigger warning for this episode. We are talking about warning. Yeah, trigger warning in general for a lot of like just grotesque stuff, but more specifically relating to child not making it past the childhood phase kind of thing. I'm trying to word this in a way that's not the worst.
Infanticide?
Sure. Yeah. I was thinking of ways that are less.
It's upsetting.
It's upsetting. Yeah.
So
giant trigger warning for this movie.
He's a sadist.
Oh, I don't know.
I think he makes her do all these things to prove how much she can take, how strong she is.
Yes, she has to do kindnesses. Yeah.
It's so unsettling. So he does all these things to basically like puts her in a lot of pain, and that's what he gets out of it.
And it encourages his position of power over her. It's very weird things too. It's not all of them appear to have been sexual. Like clearly that was implied. There were some, but there were a lot that were just really weird. And we cut about 20 years later.
It's 22 years since.
22 years. And she has a daughter who's 18 now. She's about to go off to college. And she has a job. And she's seemingly successful. And she has a boyfriend who is married. And everything's going fine. And then she starts seeing this guy at various places. And the more that unrolls, the more we get about their backstory. And specifically the fact that they had a child. And then when she was instructed to go, I think, grocery shopping or something. She was instructed to go shopping or something. He killed the child, and
he forbade her from giving birth. Of course, that's because he didn't want to be usurped, and she obviously loved the baby more than him, because that's often how it goes, because, you know, that's an important bond. Also, her backstory is given in an 8-minute uncut monologue of just Rebecca Hall. Absolutely. Every now and then I would like blink and be like, wait, this is still the same shot. They haven't cut away. This is one thing. Like, I become aware of it again because I'm trying to watch this with having awareness, but also I feel like I could have just got sucked into that and just lived in that. It's brutal.
The intern's reaction at the end of it, when she's like, because the intern's like, are you okay? Like, what's wrong? And then she just unfolds all of this, and it's beautifully performed. And then at the end of it, the intern's just like,
is this a test? What is going on? And Margaret has to just be, which was such this moment of like, people will ask you how you're doing, and you're like, you're not ready for my trauma. And when you actually do share it, that idea is reinforced, which is part of, like, you can see in the intern's reaction, it's like part of her being almost not justified, but feeling vindicated, like, yeah, this is why I haven't gone to therapy in all this time, because this is such insanity, and I know it's insane and sounds horrible. Specifically, that the thing he decided to control her with was saying that he had eaten up her son Ben, and that Ben lived in his belly. And she heard he was alive, and that she couldn't leave because then she'd be leaving him.
Yeah, it's a really disturbing tactic, weapon.
It sounds, if you're not watching, it's like, I know it sounds absurd. Tim Roth makes it the scariest thing. It is the way, like Josh said, like cinematography, lighting, the way that Tim Roth is, it is horrifying.
He's grabbing his belly as though he is with child, and he's encouraging her to at points like listen and
feel for a kick.
Yeah, it's so that in and of itself is unsettling. And again, this movie is a masterclass in cinematography. There's nothing else to say about it, but it's just so beautiful. There's a scene where she wakes up from a nightmare, but the nightmare is she opens up an oven. She's hearing a baby crying. She opens up an oven, and there is very clearly kind of a doll of sorts. It's definitely not the most realistic looking special effect, but it's a baby that's charred, a little bit charred. And that was unsettling. We're like, oh, that's gonna hopefully be the extent of that nightmare. There's a scene later on in the movie where she finally started to confront Tim Roth directly, and increasingly more tense. This movie is a very slow burn, and like when I say slow burn, it's not till I was looking at the time. It wasn't till the last 15 minutes that things started to actually start to like pop off, is such a weird way to put it. Because it's like, it's this slow, he breaks down her psyche to the point where she has driven away her daughter. She has driven away her partner. She has been missing work for like over a week. And she finally, she has a gun and she's ready to go shoot him. She finds out where he hangs out. There's a confrontation there, and he re-encourages her to start doing kindnesses if she wants to save her daughter, and she starts to do them. It's just very, it's a very slow build up, and then she goes to meet him at this hotel where he's like, meet me here so we can just start over,
so you can spend some time with your son.
And so she goes, and what starts out as just a really weird like she hears the baby crying, and it's just so uncomfortable to watch. And then it's revealed that she has a couple of knives that she's created little duct tape sleeves for. And there's a bit of a tussle, a bit of a fight. And then she gets the upper hand eventually, and she guts him. And inside of the body cavity is the child, which was weird in and of itself. I thought, okay, this is going to be another nightmare sequence. This is going to be a hallucination of sorts. And the end of the movie is her in her apartment holding Ben, holding her baby, and her daughter is now home helping her care for the baby and offering to hold the baby. And she picks up the baby, and the movie ends.
The movie ends zooming in on Margaret smiling and then the smiling fading away and then giving the little shuddering gasp that she's done a few times before. But that is where it ends.
Yeah, we're really given no clarification as to what the hell happened. It's just so, we literally walked out of the movie theater with a headache because we were trying so hard to just figure out where it was going and endure the like nightmarish stuff that was Tim Roth is menacing, and I applaud his ability to do that role because it was a lot. This movie was a lot.
It was so much. This movie exists in the same part of my brain now as Snowpiercer, which is a movie I watched once. I will never watch it again, and it will haunt me viscerally for the rest of my life because it's just so upsetting. But I also, we watched it and then we're waiting for the jam to start, and I was just going through my phone being like, peeps, I need to know what other people think about this immediately. And like, obviously there's all these reviews like, to say any more would be spoilers. I'm like, no, I need you to talk about the baby in the stomach. I need you to explain what you think because now I've been mulling over this movie for the whole weekend in my head, and I think it's very good, and kind of I want to hear someone who is like a person who knows a lot of stuff about abuse talk about the ways that this illustrates things. I feel like how insane it made me feel is how insane you feel as a victim of abuse.
Yeah.
And like that difficulty holding on to reality when you are gaslit so hard is like I feel that, but also part of me is still kind of in your camp of just like, what was this movie?
Yeah, and that's the thing too is I definitely, when we first walked out, I'm like, okay, that ending was so weird it ruined the entire movie just for like a moment. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, no, this was an effective psychological thriller. This does exactly what a psychological thriller is supposed to do. It's supposed to make you question the reality of the movie you just watched. It is supposed to endear you to your protagonists. It is supposed to make you the most disgusted you could be in a antagonist that's not he's got this charm to him, right? He's got that silver tongue that abusers and manipulators often have, or so they think they have sometimes.
Yeah. And he's also like, he's Tim Roth. He's like charming, but he's also not like so like, he's handsome, but in a very menace. He has the Kilgrave.
Yes.
That was what I was thinking.
He would be an excellent Kilgrave.
Yeah, no,
he's interesting in Incredible Hulk, which we'll watch at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, because that was once when we got into the monologue of her talking about how he abused her, I was like, oh, this is very Kilgrave. And I was just thinking about that like the specific type of really menacing, and like her talking about how he endeared himself to her parents and like did all of that so well. And that's just like, yeah. So that was my vibe. It was just someone, I am as upset about this movie as I am like about that season of Jessica Jones. Is just like, you want so badly to protect this woman from this horrible man, and she's trying so hard to fight him as okay in some ways, but can't fully. That was the thing with the ending for me, was just like, well, I guess she did kill him. At least there was that. She whatever else happened.
Everything else after, it's just you don't know, did she actually get her daughter back? Like what it. And there's a bunch of bottles of pills on the table next to her, so it's like, is she off her meds kind of thing? There's I will be curious to see whenever there's more like interviews talking about the movie. I especially want to hear from Rebecca Hall and Tim Roth as far as like, because like how do you get into those roles? Like I honestly think they both equally had just a mountainous task of making these characters believable, because they're extremely believable. These characters in this story has the potential to be very unrealistic, very cartoony, very just not believable. And these two actors, I think the rest of the cast, for as small as it is, does do a decent job. Like the daughter is a very good younger actor, and the partner's not really in it all that much, but when he is, he's good. But like Rebecca Hall and Tim Roth really carry this movie, and Rebecca Hall there's a lot of scenes where it's just her and the camera, and there's a lot of scenes where there's a lot of physical stuff. One of the kindnesses she has to start doing is to walk home barefoot,
walk to and
from work barefoot. Yeah. And she just, all that stuff. There's this scene where she's at this conference the first time she sees him, and she freaks out because there was an incident with her daughter, and she leaves the conference and runs home the full way. And I think this takes place is it New York?
I know it's definitely in America because they met in Canada and she ran away to America to try and get away from him.
It's a large populous city. It's metropolis type city. And she's just drenched in sweat, and like she looks like she just ran 5-10 miles to get home, kind of thing. It's really, it's just a really well done movie. And yeah, the hair screen was great for it. There was the slight issue of we were sitting right by the back door, and I worked at a small screen movie theater. I know what it's like waiting for a movie to be over at the small screen movie theater. You may, if you're listening to this, you may want to encourage headphones for your phones, or keep the volume at a level that can't be heard from the theater, because it was also very distracting to me to try to stay focused. But otherwise, staff was great. They got us in real quick because we were running late. And so do you have any other thoughts on this movie, Bob?
When she finds the package with her initial on it and she opens it, and I knew instantly when I saw the little bit of fabric what it was, and I think it took you a little bit to realize, but he's kept the baby quilt and he like gives it to her as another manipulation thing, and it's just,
well, and it's clearly like blood soaked. You know what it was? I didn't realize what it was when she was digging in his drawers, but when she got it, I knew what it was, kind of thing. It was just the initial like, the hell is that? I thought it was going to be wrapping something. But yeah, it was very much like caked in dried blood. That's what all those brown stains were. At least that's the way I read into that. Maybe that's not what that implication was supposed to be, but
I didn't see that. I don't know if I was just so lost in her absolute heartbreak.
That hotel owner,
that was such a weird.
What a weird thing.
Yeah, just coming and screaming at her, get out. I was trying to figure out what that.
That maybe he paid her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very weird. That's I think that's one of the weaker parts of the movie, is just the interaction with the hotel worker. I think that's the like, and maybe that's supposed to be something like.
I feel like, like something about like. Also, her talking to the cop and trying to explain, and that was so upsetting. I'm just like, we can't really do anything. You call if it gets worse, and she's like, yeah, if I get like just that same fear everyone feels is like, well, he is keeping mostly to himself, but he's in the same areas.
Doing just enough to not be doing anything illegal. Yep, that's.
Yeah, this is a very upsetting movie for a lot of reasons. Very well done. I will never watch it again. Yeah,
no, it is intriguing. The performances are great. I think my favorite part is the cinematography. I think it was, I'm about to yawn. Oh no. Oh God.
It's also a thing with videos is. See how much we yawn.
Well, no, to be fair, the good thing is when I do need to do a cut in video, I can just toss up like a picture of the movie, like a still or something.
True.
So there's that. Or
zoom in on one of our faces while the other does something embarrassing.
Exactly. Yeah, there we go. Great. Well, that's our. We're having a very short episode this week because last week's episode was a lot.
And this movie was a lot. And
yeah, I think originally we were going to do Nope first, but we realized Nope literally just came out. And I think we're coming to terms with the fact that while we like going to the movies right away and seeing something and putting something out, a lot of people that listen to our show currently don't do that. So I think we are going to be scheduling those episodes out a little bit further, of just like maybe an extra week or two after release, so that people that do enjoy keeping up with movies like we do can still stay up to date with us if they would like to. That being said, to stay up to date with us, you can go to www.thebutchandthebite.com. That's A-N-D, not ampersand, because the internet does not like ampersands. Bob's little head shake thing they just gave to that was adorable. And yeah, that's where you can find all the social media links. You can check out the link to our 100th episode. We did the whole video. It's on video. It was great. Again, we can't thank the guests enough. Tyler Ray Kendrick, Krista Brooke, Katie Tarara, Gladys Jelks, and the ghost of Brian Adams.
He's not dead.
He's not dead. Which I don't. Will this have the newer? I don't think this will have the newer version of the intro because he hasn't got me a final version of it. But we will have a new version of the intro soon, so that'll be fun. Go check out a Small Frog Art. Do that. There's stuff. There's things. The Patreon this month's what, a little bee?
Last month was a little bee.
Last month was a little bee.
You missed the little bee. You can get
Oh
big
yeah,
bees.
what's this month's?
This month is a little cow.
Oh, okay. Was that the one that won?
Yeah, it was the one that won.
Cool. There we go.
Yeah.
Go get a cow. Great. Thanks. Bye.
Butch.